Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
And welcome to today's show. This is your host, b-alan-bourgeois, and we have with us a lady by the name of Julie-Beasley. I hope I said the last name correctly. Welcome, Julie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, pleasure. We're eager to help you promote your book, which is H for Harvey. It's a children's book about Hurricane Harvey, the recovery, and all that related stuff. So let's start right off the bat. What was the motivation for you to create the book?
Well, it was the simple fact of this incredible storm that's happened a year ago. August 25th? It rocked the whole state of Texas world, and in particular where I live, which is in Houston. And Harvey came, and I was sitting in my home. I was lucky enough to be one of the few in my area whose house was spared. And, besides a slight roof leak, there's nothing that I could complain about. But, houses away from me, mere, less than a mile, were experiencing horrible flooding. And obviously, as the night went on the 25th and the 5 or so days after, we learned even, of course, how much worse it was, and how far spread this flooding and hurricanes, the damage that it was causing. So, like so many people, I was at home witnessing it. One of the interesting things was that a lot of us who did not, have the water damage had power. So we were able to watch on TV, on the news, see what was going on, and you just couldn't believe it. You would just think, wow, that expressway is right by me. I can't believe it's totally underwater, and we're just watching these rescues and people, asking for help. And obviously, in this day and age, there's the social media aspect. So we had our phones, and we're looking online, and we're hearing calls of help from people, and people saying, oh my gosh, my wife's about to go into labor, and we can't get to the hospital. And people stuck on their roofs. And so I'm witnessing all this like everybody else, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And so I think it was probably about, I don't know, maybe a few days later after Harvey hit that I just kind of was inspired. I have 2 small children, and I was thinking about how it was for them. They really couldn't grasp how powerful and damaging this hurricane was. So I was thinking, gosh, wouldn't it be nice to have a little book or something that they could know what happened here, and that's kind of how it happened. It came to me. I started writing it. I'd never written a book before. I am a writer by trade, a copywriter in the advertising world, and I just started writing it, and I worked on it for several days, and I said to myself, I remember I was shopping at HEB, and I'm like, I'm going to sell this here one day. So. Yeah, and we'll see if that happens, but that's kind of what it was, and I just I'll stop now. Let you ask something else, more about the book. I'm just kind of going off on the Harvey thing.
That's okay, because a lot of people don't understand what Harvey really meant in some respects. I used to live in Houston, and I watched a lot of the old neighborhoods that I was in get totally flooded. Maryland Park, for example, near the downtown area, a whole bunch of different areas. So I fully understand the drama of watching that happen and stuff, and seeing the damage a week later when I drove into town to do business-related stuff. So what I find interesting about your book is that you actually have some aspects of it that you have H for heroes, you have H for hashtag, you have a whole bunch of different H's involved in that. Help me understand what made you present it in that.
Yeah, that was also part of the inspiration as well. I was just thinking about all of these different things we were hearing about. Obviously, there's naturally Houston, and all over we were seeing hashtag Houston Strong and hope and heroes. And, of course, that's one of the big stories, and the big story of Harvey is how many people came out to help and everyday heroes. So, you have the people you expect to, which God bless them, that we have people in the armed services and Coast Guard and obviously our military and police and firemen who did all this help. But then also the other kind of really sweet aspect was the fact to just see everyday people, right? So I was thinking about that and those kinds of heroes. And in the book I call it Heroes Without Capes. And so there's all those people. So the story really is, it's all these H words I was thinking about. And it just made for like a natural, fun, rhymey book. And that's kind of what it turned into. So the book itself is very much uplifting, I like to think. So the story definitely talks about the hardship and the horrible thing that happened, and it in a fun, kid-like, historic way about what happened. And then it definitely turns about how the good that came out of it, and a lot of it is focused on that. So you kind of hopefully get done reading it with like a smile on your face that that there's good in another H word, humanity. So.
Going from being a copy editor to a children's writer, going from a copy editor to a writer in general fiction or nonfiction, bad enough. But to go from copy editor to children's, that must have been a really big challenge for you.
Oh, yeah. Actually, a copywriter, which I think it just wasn't as clear, is a little bit different. So I worked like TV commercials and print ads and all sorts of things for advertising clients. So it's in some ways it was a bit of a leap, and in other ways not, because as anybody in advertising, in traditional advertising in particular, knows, a lot when you're selling something is about creating a human truth or a story. And a lot of the advertising I've done in the past is about trying to build on an emotion and a story. So, which is kind of funny sometimes to try to do that for something like toothpaste, but you try your best to do that sort of thing. So in some ways it wasn't that way, because I always liked that sort of genre of heartfelt advertising that pulls at the strings. But at the same time, and this is a large, we could talk about this for a long time, the appreciation I have now for what it takes to make a book and the whole publishing process, while there are similarities with the advertising world, there's lots of differences as well. And I just, I have so much to thank for Texas University Press, TCU Press. They took this book on, and I went through the process. After I wrote the book, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I got to get this out there. How the heck do you do this? So I'm like, we just know off the top of our heads, those of us who don't write books, like, oh, there's Random House. What else is there? And I started sending it out, and I sent it to quite a few places, and I was so pleased when Dan Williams from Texas Christian University Press, he responded to my email very quickly, and he goes, this sounds like something special that we'd be interested in. Let's keep talking. And that was now, I don't remember how many months ago, 8 months ago. And then they helped me produce it. We went through the whole stage, and obviously there's other elements to the book as well. I found an illustrator, and I guess the big thing we need to talk about is the fact that the book, the royalties, 100% of the royalties of the book are going to the Astros Foundation.
I was wondering, as far as the proceeds go, we were going to say that for the second portion, and we just have a couple minutes left of this portion.
Okay. Right
now, the book is available for pre-order. It is on Amazon for $16.95, and it's scheduled for delivery approximately August 3rd. You have a sale coming up with Mattress Mac. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, with the anniversary coming up of Harvey, again, that would be on August 25th, we're trying to think of an event that we could do to really kind of kick it officially off with a bang. Around that time, the books will be available in stores. Like as you said, right now it's for pre-order on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, but eventually they will be in your stores in Texas, so in particular. So we're like, okay, what kind of event could we do? So we're going to bring some books over to Gallery Furniture, their big flagship location off of 45, and sell books. And for those people that were listening, I'm sure most Houstonians and probably many Texans know who Mattress Mac is. But for those who don't, this gentleman, Jim, is been just a wonderful part of the community here in Houston, and he actually made the national news during Harvey when he allowed people to literally sleep in his stores on mattresses, and he took them in. In addition to that, he's done a whole bunch of things to help with Harvey relief. So when we told him about this book, it's great. He said, yeah, we'll set up a table for you, and you can sell your books and sign them, you and your illustrator.
And Mattress Mac has been a strong proponent of helping people in the Houston area for as long as I've been around in Houston, over 30 years at least. And he has done a great job. And during Harvey, he not only, as you mentioned, allowed people to sleep in the store, but he also gave away a lot of furniture to those who lost pretty much everything. So he is definitely a great personality in that respect, and we thank him for that. We're going to go ahead and take a break at the moment. We will come back just shortly, and we'll talk more about the book.
Headlines. Cryptocurrency vultures are circling around failing governments. Darknet predators are rushing to market with their newest digital product. They promise economic salvation, even as they coupon clips straight from your digital wallet. The newest techno-thriller installment from Breakfield and Berkey, The Enigma Source. Book 10 of the Enigma series continues the combat of cyber good guys versus cyber thugs set in today's digital landscape.
Do you love to read great new ebooks? Visit ebg247.com. Be the first to discover the next bestseller. At ebg247, we have the web's largest selection of great new book reads, from that amazing new fiction or nonfiction to horror, romance, and fantasy. We even have today's best children's books. That's ebg247.com. New books arrive daily, and all ebooks start at just 99 cents. If you love to read, then you'll love ebg247.com. Low prices, large selection, and an easy-to-use website. It's all only at ebg247.com.
Howdy, I'm John Cruder, the Midnight Marauder. I guess you might say that I'm a vigilante who rights the wrongs I see along my many travels to balance the scales of justice, especially those of the corrupt and murderous members of the Town Council of Bandera, Texas. You can follow my many adventures in a series of Midnight Marauder books written by Roy Clinton on Amazon.com and TopWesterns.com. Or, if you prefer, listen to my adventures in audiobook form by downloading them from Audible.com or iTunes. This is R. William James, the voice of the Midnight Marauder.
Texas Authors is proud to be a supporter of IndieBeacon.com, a website that supports indie authors from around the world. If you are looking for help with marketing or getting published, IndieBeacon.com can assist you. Years of experience by the founder is available to any indie author looking for help. IndieBeacon.com, a place for creative souls to find help in marketing their creations.
Bourgeois Media and Consulting, a book publishing consultant where creative inspiration is realized. More at bourgeoismedia.com.
Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
And welcome back to the show. We have with us Julie Beasley, who has written a children's book called H is for Harvey. which is about the Harvey hurricane and all of the chaos and good stories and everything else that came out of that event. Welcome back, Julie.
Thank you very much.
We mentioned earlier that the book is available for pre-order on Amazon. It is $16.95, and it is helping a nonprofit, specifically the Astros Foundation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So
100%.
who are they? And
go ahead.
Who are they, and what do they do?
Sure. The Astros Foundation is the official team charity of the Houston Astros, and it supports lots of different nonprofit organizations to help with different sorts of things in the community, from perhaps helping rebuild a baseball field. They also do all sorts of things have to do with events that honor the military or support childhood cancer and awareness, and a whole bunch of wonderful things. Specifically for my thing, it will go to their ongoing Harvey relief efforts. So obviously they're a big part of Houston and have a lot of clout, and I hope that having them and Jim Crane donated $4 million or something to the hurricane relief efforts. And so, yeah, it's just, and obviously all the team, the stuff that we saw them doing as far as helping out. And, so I just thought, wow, this would be a really good place to give money to. And in return, I also got a foreword from them. And it's a really interesting, nice little foreword at the beginning of the book that sort of talks about, the events of last year, because obviously there were some real highs and lows. The low being Hurricane Harvey, as well as a high being the Astros winning the World Series. So it's the Astros seem like a really natural choice to get for a forward and to give to, because they really put a smile on Texans' faces when they needed it. So, and it helped my son became a real big baseball fan last year. So I was thrilled when then the Astros Foundation became open to this, and their executive director, Twilla Carter, and their VP of marketing, Anita Siegel, and I hope I said that right. And just it's great. So I just hope that will help sell the book, obviously, and ultimately be able to give some money to help with ongoing relief.
And your illustrator, Eduardo Martinez, how did you guys team up?
I wanted to find somebody that was local, and I know a lot of people in the advertising industry, being creative, that have art backgrounds, but I'm like, I think it would be really special if I could find somebody local like myself, and it could mean something. And I feel like it was just really good luck that I was looking online and I found Eduardo and his work, and I gave him a call, and right away he was interested, and it's just everyone will be able to see from the book. The book's 40 pages long and just has these gorgeous, beautiful illustrations, and Eduardo's a real pro, and he's been doing it for a long time. He's an ex-military guy that now is a graphic designer, and he's incredibly talented. So I feel really blessed that he worked on it. So.
Great. And I hope you have a copy handy. You'd rather be on the PC or something. If you could give us an illustration of what one of the H's is, and give a little bit of a reading.
Sure. Wow. As I scroll through my, it's here. Let me grab it. Okay. All right. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, if you found it, go for it.
I got it. Okay, so it's H is for Harvey, right? And I'll read you one of them. H is for Harvey, spinning wild in the ocean. H is for hurry. It's time to prepare. Harvey hitting the coast. Texas, beware. H is for Houston. We have a problem. Yes, we do indeed. Historic rains in Harris County, like nothing we've ever seen. And then go to the end here, and H is for homeless, four-legged pets rescued and cared for by volunteer vets. So a lot of it reads, for a young child. But the nature of this book, and this is what Eduardo and I were really going for, is for it to be some kind of keepsake, nice gift sort of item, sort of for any ages. And granted, it is a kid's book, but there is definitely like a polishedness to it, a polished look to it, that it feels like it's something that, you know, families could just have as far as any ages go. So at the end of the book, I will mention that there is a learning aspect of it, and that would be, you know, H is for how, and it answers lots of questions like how long ago did Harvey happen? How long did it last? How much water fell during Harvey? How many people affected? So we've got some facts in there as well. So there's the educational aspect, as well as, you know, how can you help? And it's saying, you know, basically by buying this book, you've already done is a good start. And that's sort of how it ends.
Okay. Now, we have been talking about the fact that it is for children. What age range is it ideally for?
Ideally for, I would say, I would say, when I think about it, it's about 5, 6, 7, you know, year olds. Could go pretty much grade school. You could read it to your young kid. There would be some words that they might not understand in it, but I can see myself probably doing readings for it from like K to third, probably.
And excuse me. Now that this one is done, and once you get through the initial stages of promotion, do you plan on doing another book?
I haven't gotten that far. I never knew if I would do one book. So an interesting thing about a lot of copywriters in advertising aspire to write screenplays or novels. And I've always been really happy to write TV commercials and print ads, and that has always been my passion. So this was a surprise for me that not that I exactly thought of it, but just how much I've enjoyed it. And I don't know, maybe it could start something else.
With doing the book and all the different parts that have come together, what have you found to be the most challenging?
Of all the parts, I would say finding the initial publisher was a challenging thing, and I just have such a respect for that whole process. It was, like I said, I was very lucky that TCU Press picked it up, but there was a lot of back and forth and trying to get other people as well, and just what it takes to, you know, a lot of people don't want to just email, they want it to be, they have very specific rules about how you submit a manuscript, and that was just a big learning curve and a lot of work. So it's a job just trying to get the job right. So that was that comes to mind as one of the most challenging things.
Do you have a specific goal in mind as far as how many books you want to be able to sell, or how much money you want to raise?
I don't right now. I'm maybe if we had this interview a little bit further down the road, but with the book being so new, I'm just kind of happy that it's being well received on social media and the initial response that I'm getting. So no, I wouldn't say yet. I'm not sure. If I can write a check for anything, it's better than nothing. So. Mm-hmm.
And it is currently, again, available on Amazon as a pre-order, but it's listed on Amazon as the #1 new release in children's American local history. How long have you been #1 in that, or do you know?
What does it say again? I'm sorry, could you say that again?
It says #1 release in children's American local history.
Yeah, you asked me how long it's been that? Is that what you said? I'm sorry, Alan.
Correct.
Somebody posted that for me actually. The first day, which was probably the end of last week. I put it out on social media, and we really let the news out there about the book because things were much more finalized, and a couple people shared that with me. So I'm not sure how long it's been that way, but it's fun to see.
And hopefully it'll come #1 into other avenues as well. We are pretty much getting close to wrapping up. And I really want to stress to people that they can pre-order the book at Amazon, and by the time this airs, they may already be able to get the book fresh and within 2-day Prime. The price is $16.95. It is on Amazon.com. H is for Harvey. A percentage of the proceeds do benefit the Astros Foundation, and we do encourage people to not only enjoy the book, but also to help out through the purchase, and it makes a great collector's edition. We've already purchased one for our Texas Authors Institute of History Museum, so it'll be permanently part of that, and we do encourage others to do that. Anything you want to share that we haven't asked?
Yeah, I want to say that it's also available on barnesandnobles.com, and I'm working on a website, hsforharvey.com, and that'll be up soon, and you can see some of the latest stuff going on with that eventually. But besides that, I just appreciate people listening, and I want to thank again, my publisher and the Texas A&M University Consortium that that oversees the Texas Unity Press's distribution portion. So I thank them, and my Eduardo Martinez again, and then a lot of friends and people that have helped me and encouraged me to get this done, and of course the Astros Foundation. So I appreciate the support of the book.
And one last question for you. Have you thought of doing any coloring sheets from pages in the book?
This is the first time I've thought of it when you said it.
Well, hopefully we'll give you something else to work on. Well, I want to thank you very much for your time, and we do wish you the best of luck. Again, the book is H is for Harvey. It is available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon as a pre-order, and her website will be up soon, which is hisforharvey.com, correct?
That's correct.
Great.
And in
the
meantime, you can, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You were going to say something. In the meantime, you can do what?
Oh, you know what? I don't know what I was going to. It's fine. Thank you so much, Alan. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I've talked enough.
You're welcome. All righty. Take care.
Hello, Texas authors. My name is Randy James, coming to you from my Carrollton recording studio, where I spend time writing and producing commercials for my radio endorsement clients, as well as my private freelance clients. I'd like the opportunity to help you sell more books with a commercial like this and get listeners of Dear Texas Radio excited about your title, all at a special introductory price, available to members of the Texas Association of Authors. Call or text 214-762-1942. That's 214-762-1942. Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website at indiebeacon.com.